Oh, and I haven't told you how much it cost either. That'll be depressing. Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Blind Pinterest Challenge. Go back up. And it's crazy to think that we're on the 11th episode of the series. The amount of craft projects I've done. But I'm thinking for this episode, I want one off the secret board that I have on Pinterest, and I want one maybe just that Pinterest is going to recommend to us. So hopefully we'll get something decent to craft today. And if you're new to the channel and new to the series, there's always a little bit of information in the description box that tells you exactly what the series is all about. Otherwise you've just tuned into like a crazy person wearing a blindfold. But I'll take this off and see which pins I want to recreate on today's episode. Perfect. Right, so I'm just on the home page now, and I'm going to see what it's suggesting for us. And by the looks of things, it's still suggesting a lot of Christmas stuff. I suppose December is coming up. I really like that. That's absolutely gorgeous. It's for sale, $74.25. I'm not going to try it. Right, there's nothing that's jumping out to us, so I think I'm going to search for modern crafts. I quite like them. I've done something very similar though. It'll be a very similar process to the bike wheel behind us. So, I could try this. It looks like they've pressed some kind of leaves within maybe glass or acrylic and suspended it within the wood frame. No, I can't, no. I don't do I want to try that? Right, I'm going to challenge myself and I am going to try and attempt this. I don't think mine are going to work out particularly well, but I'm going to give it my best shot. I'm worried about it already. Right, now let's head on to my secret board and see what I want to craft from there. You know what, I'm going to give this jelly candle a go. I've never made jelly candles before, and I think they look very cute. I think this one looks super cute. And I'm pretty sure you can buy jelly wax, and then I think it'll be just making the candle the same way I've made candles before. So it shouldn't be too difficult. Just get a few pebbles, some sand. Okay, so I think I'm just going to stick with the two for today's episode because I have a funny suspicion that I'm really going to struggle with them pressed plants, the pressed flowers, leaves, whatever it was that I've chosen to make. So we're going to be making the pressed leaves, and I'm also going to be making the beachy jelly candles, which I think will be really fun, and I think it'll be quite simple. If I'm betting on it now, at this moment, before I've gathered everything and sorted everything out, I think I'm going to ace the jelly candle with flying colours, and I think I'm going to severely f*** up the pressed flowers. In fact, I know I am. I don't know why I'm attempting it, but it's what I've chosen to do. So I'll probably need a couple of weeks to get all that sorted, and I'll meet you back here in just a sec. Right, okay, I'm back, and it's been a couple of weeks for me, and probably is only a couple of seconds for you, lucky you. And I've been very busy gathering everything I need for these two pins. And as I predicted, I've had a few issues with the pressed leaves. So I think we'll start off with that one, because I just want to get it out the way with. So to start off with, I decided to brave the lovely British weather on the hunt for some MDF, and I found a huge variety at the DIY store, and I was debating which ones to pick, but I came across some solid oak. And because on this day, at that time, I thought really highly of myself, I thought I would splash out on it because I want it to look really good. So I grabbed myself some oak wood pieces, and I think these are going to look pretty good. I think it's going to work quite well. I'm such a liar. And then I ventured into nature to steal some leaves. Fortunately, I'm recording this just at the beginning of autumn, so there were actually some foliage left on the trees, because I didn't think about that. If it had been winter or full-on autumn, I'd have been screwed. But luckily I managed to get some leaves from this tree, and I think it's going to work pretty good. I brought the leaves back to the studio and I decided to press them in amongst some books to really flatten them out. And I will have to blur the front cover of that book because it's got a lot of nudity on the front of it. It's artistic, it's not pornographic, I swear. And I added a few extra books on top just to give it a real fighting chance and really flatten them leaves down. While I was waiting for my leaves to get squashed, I decided to measure the oak planks and cut them. And I was having a bit of a lazy day. I couldn't be asked to go and get my power saw, so I thought I would hand saw everything, which took far too long. I should have just gotten off my ass and gotten my big power saw, and it'd have made things so much quicker and so much easier, but never mind. Just like to make things harder for myself. But I eventually got through it all, and I got 4 pieces that were exactly the same length. Now I know in their pin they have a solid piece of wood with kind of a beveled like gap in between it, and the same on the other side, so it just slots in. but I don't have the tools or the skill set in order to create that indent. So my idea is to just sandwich the acrylic in between the oak planks. And although it won't look exactly like the pin, I think that's the best way I could kind of think about going about it. So I retrieved my leaves from the book and it worked perfectly well. I'm very happy with it. And then I polished up the acrylic sheets that I bought just to get rid of any dust or any dirt that was in them. Once I was happy with the cleanliness of my acrylic, I decided to use PVA to glue the MDF and the acrylic sheets together. And this is the biggest mistake I made. It was a huge mistake. Just what was I thinking? But anyway, not knowing the mistakes I was about to make, I placed the leaves on top of the acrylic and then added some more glue on the other side and then sandwiched the second piece of acrylic over the top. Then once I was happy with that and everything was in place, I then glued the remaining wood on top of the acrylic, popped some books on and then let that set for what I thought would be one day. I was wrong. So day one went and I was feeling pretty confident. I was pretty happy with it. Day two came around and I was like, oh, I'll check to make sure everything's dry. It wasn't dry. Day three came along. It still wasn't dry and it was just popping up every time I took the books off. And then I realised at about day five, it just wasn't going to work. The glue just wasn't holding it. It was just springing back up. So I decided to try and fix it the best I could and use hot glue, which I should have done at the very start. Why did I think PVA was the way forward? Always use hot glue. And I did try to do it on the other side, but the other side somehow had managed to stick and I couldn't get it undone. So one side's hot glue and the other side's PVA. And I was slightly worried that the leaves would rot in amongst the perspex, but comparing it to the leaves that I left out, it seems to be working. I'm quite surprised. Right, so now I'm left with this, and the leaves are in there, everything's stuck together. Unfortunately, I had a glue spillage, so there's a big blob of glue at the top. So that's another fail on my behalf. And also, if you can see in there, there's a big gap. So it's not going to be airtight. I'm worried about whether the leaves are actually going to survive in there. So now what I'm going to do is attach the fixtures at the top and some hanging. I've got like a shower curtain ring, like they did in the pin with the circle. The second mistake I made is I thought I would buy some jewellery chain to suspend it, but I think it's going to be too heavy for it. So instead I'm going to use twine for mine, which they didn't do in their pin, but things are going wrong anyway. Right, okay, so we have expectation, reality. And you know what? If it wasn't for that big blob of glue at the top, I would really, really like this. I think I would have done a really good job. And you never know, maybe that glue will dry transparent. Oh no, the hook's coming undone. But yeah, I don't think it doesn't look too bad, but it definitely doesn't look as nice as theirs. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hang it up in the studio where we can see it. If you subscribe to the channel, then we can monitor how this does throughout the rest of the years and see whether the plants actually rot or not, because I think they might. It's definitely not airtight. So I think I'll hang it up at the back there where we can see it. Just going to have a rejig. I just need to retie the knot, it broke. This just fell off that one. Everything's falling apart. I'm being exposed for my shit crafts. There, we'll hang it there. I feel like it might fall down, but I'm over it. So over it. Oh, and I haven't told you how much it cost either. That'll be depressing. Okay, so that cost me £32.84. If it had worked out perfectly well, I wouldn't have been mad at it. But if I was to do it again, I would definitely just use hot glue and not PVA, and then I would be super, super happy with it. I'd be perfectly fine with it. It would have been a complete success. But anyway, let's move on to Jelly Candle. Right, so for this one, I again ventured outside to harvest some natural resources from nature, including the sand and the stones. And I think I got a good collection. I think it's going to look pretty decent. I bought these glasses on Amazon. I was debating whether to go for jars. And then I was thinking, why go for jars when literally in their pin you can tell they've used a glass? I'm just worried that it might be a bit too thin and a bit too fragile for hot wax, but we'll soon find out. Now, these came in with my wicks, and I think I just use it to stick it to the bottom. Yeah, and I'm going to assemble it up here, and then we'll go downstairs into the kitchen, and I'll sort the wax out. And I've also got some shells that I had from the other episode of the Blind Pinterest Challenge. I think it was about 3 episodes ago. I'm just gonna pop them into. Yeah, I think I'm gonna be happy with that. I think that's gonna look pretty good. Right, we'll go downstairs and melt some wax and see how this turns out. Right, so I bought this stuff off Amazon, and as you can tell, I bought far too much. And it's quite squishy, it's quite cool. You are supposed to use a double burner for this, but I'm just gonna whack it in the microwave. I don't think it really matters. How much will I need? Ooh. I wish I could give you a bit of ASMR even though you didn't ask for it. Ugh, you're welcome. And I apologise if you hated that. I'd rather have too much than too little. I'll just pop that in the microwave. Yeah, maybe I should have cleaned the microwave. Don't judge. Right, okay, so it's all melted, and I thought I would transfer it into a jug because that makes so much more sense when pouring. I'm also going to add some scent, which is Sea Breeze, because I thought it was fitting with the theme. It doesn't smell like sea, it smells like perfume, but never mind. I'm just worried this is going to break the glass, so cross your fingers for us, please, because this stuff is so hot. But the glass didn't break, and so far, so good. This might work. We might be onto a winner. Right, I'm gonna let that set, and then I'll meet you back in the studio, and hopefully this has all gone perfectly well. Right, okay, so we have expectation, reality, and I think mine turned out really good. I'm actually really pleased with myself. It was quite easy to make, and I definitely recommend it to anyone out there who fancies making a candle, because it was super, super easy. And I'd go as far to say that I think mine is better than the original paint. I think it definitely deserves a place on my shelf, so I'll pop it up on there. I'm gonna have to remove these vases because I ended up killing off the remaining plants that I had. That looks great, I love it. But how much did I spend on this candle? We'll soon find out, and we can see if it was actually worth how good it looks. Right, now don't be alarmed, because I have loads of leftover wax, loads of extra wicks, basically a full bottle of scent. I just can't do the maths to work out how much it cost me to make one, but it cost £41.03. But like I said, I've got loads of leftover materials, and I definitely think I would make some more just using my own designs and be a bit more creative with it. I think jelly candles are quite dated. Like, I remember back when I was younger, they used to be kind of all the rage in the 90s, and they were always just a bit cliche, a bit naff, a bit tacky. But I think we need to reinvent them. I think we need to bring them back. But that does it for today's episode of the Blind Pinterest Challenge. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up, and let me know your thoughts down below on the projects that I've done today. Just don't mention that one, please. Just please don't mention it. I don't want to relive it. And if you come across any craft ideas on Pinterest, any craft kits or anything like that you want to see me try on the channel, then leave a comment down below and I'll give it a go. It usually takes us a couple of months because I've got other videos to record and I have a job. But I do get round to it eventually. And if you love Christmas, you'll be happy to know that the next Blind Pinterest Challenge will be a Christmas special. Exciting times. I know it's only November and people are probably scared of Christmas already, but for people who are into arts and crafts, we think about Christmas? We think about Christmas all year long. But I'll see you on Friday for a brand new video. Bye!